morning, ladies and gentlemen. And I have very, very experienced and distinguished speakers who are going to speak after me, Mr. Gowda and Mr. Mohan, as well as the next session. I must compliment Policy Circle, both Anil Nair and you, who have made this happen. And Policy Circle, I will just say one sentence, is one thing which is completely apolitical and analyzes the subject on merits. And therefore, the impact is very, very good of the various articles that get published on this circle. And that's a space now they are growing. That's a space, unique space they are occupying when we move ahead. Now, coming to the topic. Definitely one good thing that has happened in the tobacco is that you have made non-smoking zones very, very clear. Now it is not fashionable any longer to smoke in public. So you have earmarked zones. So I think that's one credit definitely goes to the regulator, which has come up as an accepted norm of behavior everywhere. And that has made a lot of difference into the passive smokers as well as the spread to the other people. And along travel, another thing which we have traveled when I was a teenager and I studied my college education in Hyderabad. So there we used to have a huge poster of Jackie Shroff. And as a teenager, quite impressed, right, who is to smoke a cigarette, right. And then we have this Mr. Deepak, who was a model then. So these two were the icons for the teenage girls then, and we used to look forward to it. And from there, we have graduated. Today, Akshay Kumar saying that this is not a heroism. Ye hero-panti nahi hai. And that is another big change that has happened, the way the things are perceived, the way the things are exhibited, the way the things are going ahead with it. So I think that's a great achievement. But as Mr. Suresh Prabhu rightly said, of these warnings on the cigarettes and other things, like before this seminar, I was just going through the Google, and I was horrified to see that the number of smokers in India, tobacco consumers, is going up. From 184 million, it has gone to 250 million. If that is the number, then it looks like the consumption is going up, and all our efforts, which I said before, is not having its impact. And the worst, when I deep dived into the data, I found that 10 years to 15 years is 10% of this number. And women is 45 million. So in the sense, you have the risk factor groups who are into smoking, and somebody who is sort of getting into smoking in the age group of 10 to 15, for that person to leave it is the most difficult thing that is going to happen in future than Mr. Prabhu, what he rightly said, as a college-going person where he adopts because of peer group pressure. Maybe there is a chance if he meets a good girlfriend, he may give up. So these are the things which happens, or these are the patterns which evolve in life. But this 250 million is a worrisome word. And we are doing a chewing tobacco also. In spite of the repulsive advertisement which are thrown up every time, you still have a huge consumption of chewing tobacco, which is definitely a problem. And the main point of worry is, which is for the policymakers and for everybody, is that these are preventable deaths. There is something which is not preventable, but this is preventable death. It's a self-invite to death. And that is where the problem comes. It is not the COVID you are taken unawares, right? But this is something you have invited it. You have built it into your lifestyle, which is causing harm to you and to your family and to the people who love you. Now, this messaging, how it is going to reach the people, is very difficult for people to wean away. Borderline case, there is no harm in exaggerating and telling a patient that you are in a danger zone will make that person definitely quit it. Definitely quit it. Because all teaching, that person has not given up. All advertisement, that person has not resorted for it. All kind of maybe pricing heavy or taxation, what we find is a temporary measure. I was going through the statistics. It again says that if you enhance the tax or in a way indirectly increasing the price of a cigarette packet, the difference is only 10%. initially it may be a little more, 15%, but over a period of time it comes down to 10%. So impact is short term. It doesn't help. So taxation, making it expensive, as very rightly said, tobacco production, we cannot bring it down beyond a level. It has to be there if we have 250 million consumers. Then, yes, banning gutkas and pans and everything, or putting tobacco in pan, or chewing tobacco, or electronic cigarettes, in whichever format it is coming, whatever advertisement it is coming, nicotine patches, it is all having its impact, a serious impact on the people. And therefore, when we are looking at regulation, we have to think out of the box that yes, we have to continue with public shaming of non-smoking in the public place. We have to continue with a continuous education to them of what they are subjecting to, but very important to put an individual in danger for that person to come out, because otherwise they'll say, oh, others may die, not I. That's a concept. So that imbibes very deep. So that is the way to go in for it, because any regulation of ban and not making it available is not going to help at all. Not going to help. Mr. Prabhu very rightly said that it goes underground. We have seen deaths because of spirit drinking whenever there was a ban on liquor. Right. So in the sense, it doesn't help at all. So therefore, it is very important to go by educating, which is a slow process, but also guillotining it by a sense of fear as we are proceeding ahead. So I think now we must listen to the experts who are with us into a very, very sensitive subject, but very valid subject, very important subject. And I will just say one thing in the end. When ITC went into other products, that is besides tobacco, there was a big debate, because at that time they were entering into Madhya Pradesh for this Ashirwad Atta, because MP Gehu was the best Gehu and it was giving them a premium. So we asked them to change the brand. And there was a big debate going on. And then they said, no, we will use ITC, let people understand we are not only tobacco. But you must have seen the size is minuscule, and Ashirwad comes out big. So that's the way it has gone in for. They are still working on that ITC brand, because that's their identity. So fair enough. There's no problem on that. But very important that they evolve themselves into a new identity. So that is very, very important, that yes, smoking cannot disappear, but it can be reduced. And these numbers are something to watch out. Let us not at least exceed 250 million by reducing it, by adopting every purpose that is needed. Thank you. Thank you so much.